Hello YouTube, it is F1 Hamilton 44 here, coming to you today with a Windows optimization guide. Now I am running Windows 8.1, but the majority of the steps I show you in this guide, it will work for the following operating systems: Windows 8 and Windows 7. However, I am unsure about Windows XP being fully functional with this guide. If someone would be so kind as to let me know in the description, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, before we get started, I'm just going to need you guys to download two programs. They are Advanced System Care 8 and Start Menu 8. I apologize if that sounds redundant. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to need to open up Advanced System Care 8. And once you have it open, you're going to see that it's the free version. However, it will look different from mine because mine is the pro version. But what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to run a scan of your computer, and your PC health might be yellow or red, in which case you definitely need to run a scan. I am not going to run this scan because you guys would be extremely bored by that, so you can just pause the video here and come back when you're done. Once you've done that, you're going to want to click on the Turbo Boost tab. And you can see that I've already run it, but basically what this will do is this will stop any unnecessary services or apps, and it will release any freed up RAM. Now you will see something that looks like a RAM with the percentage of the usage and the CPU percentage of usage. However, this isn't showing because I have a dual monitor setup, so it's showing on my other monitor. But if your CPU usage spikes too much, what you can do is you can right click on your taskbar and open up Task Manager. And then you can right click on the CPU so that it shows what processes are using the most CPU at the top. And then if you don't need that process, you can just kill it for good. Now please note, every time you run a restart or your system starts up, you're going to need to kill that process again. Now the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to go to the Startup tab, and you can just disable any unneeded programs on startup. How you do that is you right click on the program and you click Enable or Disable. All of these programs that I have enabled I need for startup, so I'm just going to leave them as they are. Once you've done that, you can just close Task Manager. Now the next step is in Control Panel, so just open up Start Menu 8 and then click Control Panel. Now you're going to see I have mine on small icons. You can do small icons, large icons, or by category. I would prefer large icons because it makes it more accessible with everything right in front of your face. Hard to miss, right? You're going to need to click on the System tab and then go to Advanced System Settings on the left side. Now you see three places in the Advanced System Settings that you can change the settings in: Performance, User Profiles, and Startup and Recovery. You were just going to need to focus on Performance and Startup and Recovery for right now. So for Performance, you're going to click on Settings, and then make sure that you either have the boxes checked that I do, or you have it on the second Adjust for Best Performance. The first one will check everything, and you don't want that because there's just a bunch of unneeded visuals there. Now note that for Windows 7 it will look a bit different. Just make sure that you either have all of the boxes unchecked. That will make it look like Windows 95, but it'll make it run significantly faster. Or you just have a couple of them checked. Then click on the Advanced tab and make sure that your processor allocates for the best performance of programs. If it allocates for the best performance of background services, this will slow down your computer. Now, virtual memory, you don't really need to touch that unless you're a gamer and you primarily only play games, in which case you can click on Change, and you can click on Custom Size. And make sure that the initial size and the maximum size are both the same or at least somewhat similar. Once you do that, click OK. Now you can click Apply and OK again. Now you're going to go to Startup and Recovery Settings and make sure that Time to Display List of Operating Systems is checked. For system failure, is unchecked. For system failure, you don't need to touch that. I have no idea what it does, but hey, I'm not the smartest man in the world. And what unchecking that box will do is it will make startup a bit faster. Now you only can do this if you have one operating system, which most people do. However, I do know a couple people who have multiple operating systems, in which case you might want to keep this checked. Once you've done that, click OK. Now click on the System Protection tab, and this is optional, you don't have to do it. I've done it to free up SSD space, but what you're going to want to do is just see to it that System Protection for your primary drive is off. how you do that is you go to Configure and make sure that Disable Persistent Protection is checked. Once you do that, you can also delete all restore points for this drive. This may take a little bit, but it should say that the restore points were deleted successfully. Click Apply and OK. Now click the Remote tab. Make sure that Allow Remote Assistance Connections to this computer is checked just for this part of the guide. Click Advanced, and now make sure Allow this computer to be controlled remotely is unchecked, unless you have a remote control device that you use with your computer. You don't need to worry about the Invitations tab. That is virtually useless. Once you do that, click OK, Apply, and OK. Now we're going to still be in Control Panel for the next step. Just go to the Ease of Access Center, and you're going to want to scroll down to make it easier to focus on tasks, and make sure that preventing windows from automatically being arranged when moved to the edge of the screen, make sure that box is checked. And that way it won't look as though it's trying to snap it to the edge of the screen, and it gets annoying after a while. For most people anyway. If it doesn't, you can leave it on. Keep in mind that all of these steps in the guide are optional. Alright, now the next step, once you're going to do that, click Apply and OK. For some reason, Control Panel's jacked up for me right now. I'm sorry about that. But the next step you're going to need to do is you're just going to want to uninstall any unneeded programs. So you're just going to go to the large icon view, Programs and Features. Now you'll see that I've got a bunch of crap programs on here that I don't need, and these are taking up a lot of space on my hard drive. You can see on the bottom that it only takes up about 1.5 gigabytes. However, I mean, it actually takes up a little more. Excuse my coughing. But the majority of these programs I will need, but any games that came with your computer that you don't want, you can keep that. Now, obviously, you're going to want to keep your antivirus and anything else that is essential to computer performance. Once you've done that, you can go to Turn Windows Features On or Off. And if you have VLC Media Player, you can uncheck Windows Media Player. However, I do not. I will leave the download link to VLC in the description. But if you have another internet browser like Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox or Opera, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But anyway, if you have another internet browser, you can uncheck Internet Explorer 11, which I've already done. But Windows Features is all jacked up for me right now. I apologize. But you're just going to want to unfill the box that has Internet Explorer 11 in it. Once you've done that, I believe that you can exit out of Control Panel. Now, the next step is going to be in Command Prompt. I have a shortcut for it on my desktop, but if you don't, you can go Control Windows key R, which will not open up Run. Windows key R, I believe it is actually, which is Run, and then type in. Actually, no, cmd.exe won't work because you have to run it as an admin. So I have a shortcut on my desktop. You can just go to your Start menu, type in cmd, and it'll be the first one that pops up. Right-click it and run it as an administrator. Now, once you have this here, you're going to want to type in power cfg space /h off. Now note that this will turn off hibernation, freeing up SSD space. If you don't need hibernation, I highly recommend that you do this. But if you do, you can leave it. Once you do that, press Enter. Now you don't need Command Prompt for any more of these steps in the guide. The next step is going to be in File Explorer. I have a shortcut to it on my desktop, so I'm just going to open that. Now the View tab at the top, you're going to want to click that and make sure File Name Extensions is checked. And what this will do is it will bring back the extensions for videos or photos. So I'll just give you guys an example of that right now. I have just a couple of F1 card pictures, and you can see that the .jpeg extensions are back. And this will just tell you what type of format it is, because there are a few different formats for photos. And yeah, so once you've done that, you can just close out of File Explorer. Now the next step, I'm not going to do this because I don't have anything that applies to it, but you're just going to want to turn off auto update for any programs that use automatic update. How you do that is you're either just going to go to Start menu, or you're going to open up Control Panel and then follow it from there. It should be pretty self-explanatory. However, if you don't have any, then you don't need to worry about it. Now the next step is going to be in Task Manager. If you're on Windows 8, you can just right-click on the taskbar and go to Task Manager. what you're going to do is you're going to just go to the Performance tab, right-click on the CPU graph, change graph to logical processors. And what this will do is it'll bring up all the cores in your processor, and it'll tell you what the usage is for each core. You'll notice I only have 2 cores on a bad AMD CPU, and I may be looking to upgrade that shortly. But basically, if you see that your CPU usage is spiking rapidly, this is normal for me, I apologize. It will look different for you though. You're just going to go to the Process tab, see what's spiking, and then kill the program. Now note, if it's one of the services and you don't know what you're doing, don't kill it, because it could be something in your registry, which could then force you to have to do a full system recovery. Trust me, I've done it. Just don't even go down that road. Alright, I believe that will do it for this guide. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments section. And also, just as a note, there's a third program that's optional to download. It's Process Lasso. You can see it right here. And I'm just going to move this to my other monitor. And basically, it shows you all the processes that are running, exactly how much CPU usage it's taking up. And you might have heard of the program tiworker.exe. It's a service host. I have it so that Process Lasso terminates it, thereby allowing my CPU to be freed up. I will leave the download links to all of the programs that I have recommended to you in the description. And also, as another note, if this is optional, you don't have to do it, but I would recommend it. Go to Control Panel, and in Power Options, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to make sure that your hard disk is never turned off. If you're on a laptop and you only have it on the battery, I wouldn't do this because it'll take up unneeded battery. I mean, battery that you need, obviously. Just type in never. Don't hit enter because this will take you out of the advanced power settings options. Just hit OK. Oops. I just did that. Anyway, next is desktop background slideshow. I especially recommend this if you are on a laptop and you want to conserve your battery. Just change it to pause from available. Once you do that, click apply and OK. Alright, that will do it for this guide. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments section. I know I'm being redundant. I suck. But, just, if you have any concerns at all, if you think I'm going to blow up your computer, I won't. But you can by deleting your System32 folder. Don't try that at home, kids. Alright, this is F1 Hamilton 44, and I will see you next time. Good night, and big balls.